What's going on? Jebb here, and welcome back to Coffee and Crypto, guys. Today we have a lot to talk about. We're going to be talking about Bitcoin in depth. We're going to be doing a ton of technical analysis on Bitcoin, which is, as you guys know, the king of crypto. But then we're going to be looking at three other altcoins that I know you guys are interested in. Number one is Ethereum. Number two, we're going to be looking at Chainlink. And then number three, we're going to be looking at Avalanche, also known as AVAX. You guys told me on Twitter, with 91% of you coming in saying yes, that you want to see more altcoin content on this show. So that's what we're going to be doing. If you want to participate in those polls, make sure to follow us over on our Twitter at CryptoJebb. We're also going to be talking about some news. We've got some news coming out of the New York, the new New York mayor talking about wanting to teach blockchain in public schools. And we're going to be talking about a CME futures gap that formed over the course of the last couple of days, over the weekend. Are we going to see a drop on Bitcoin to go down and fill that gap? We're going to talk about all of that. If you want to know where Bitcoin is now and what the rest of this week is going to look like on the price action, then you found the right place. Make sure to stay tuned because we got a lot to cover. It's going to be a great show. We are joined, as always, by TA Tim. How you doing, Tim?
I'm doing good. The bullish side of my weekend, my portfolio, like I suspect a lot of your portfolios, is sitting at an all-time high in crypto. The bearish side is the Hokies got their butts kicked.
They did.
The Gators got their butts kicked.
They did.
Dismay's Mountaineers got their butts kicked. It was a butt-kicking weekend.
It was indeed.
But I will take the high portfolio as an overall win.
Yeah. It was indeed a butt-kicking weekend for those guys. We are also joined, as always, by Smay. How are you doing, Smay?
Hi, everybody. Hi. My weekend was pretty much the same. My teams got their butt kicked. The Celtics didn't do very well. And also, but on the bright side, my portfolio is at an all-time high, which is great. And also, yesterday, we went to me, Jebb, and Tim. We all went to the stadium.
You forgot somebody, Smay. Someone else was with us.
Me, Jebb, Tim, and Tim's wife Taylor.
Yes,
we're all there.
Can't forget Taylor.
At the stadiums, and we got to run and like do a lot of exercise. So it was really fun for that.
It was really fun.
But guys, I have something very special to do, and I think you guys can probably guess what it is. I get to shout out three special members today, and those three special members are Crypto Knight.
Let's go. Thank you very much for your support.
Felix Danny Esteva.
That's a dope name.
I think I said that right.
I think you did.
Thank you for being a member. And Desert Ghost 87. Thank you guys so much for being members. If you're interested in the membership program, which by the way, we just released the claiming perk system now, so you guys can get perks as soon as you join. So guys, join. It's link in the description.
Guys, we got a lot of dope stuff going on, and I cannot wait to show all of it to you. Yeah, Taylor in chat's like, thanks, Crypto Jebb. I didn't forget you, Taylor. I know you were there. Taylor ran the whole stadium.
Thanks for you.
She ran the whole stadium in 30 minutes, and it took me an hour and a half. So Taylor just absolutely dominated. It was really fun, guys. We had a ton of fun. We're going to have a ton of fun today. And by the way, today's show is brought to you by Lux Algo. It's one of the technical indicators that you're going to see me using in this stream. Whether we are sponsored by them or not, it is an indicator that I am absolutely in love with, and you're going to see why in this show. If you're interested in it, by the end of this show, after you've seen it in action, you can use coupon code Jebb, J-E-B-B, for 20% off at checkout. But let's go ahead and jump into it. We're going to start today's show, and we're going to run today's show a little bit differently than normal. First and foremost, we're going to be going through the bullish TA on Bitcoin until about 9:45. From there, we're going to have a short intermission. We're going to read super chats. We're going to interact with you guys. Then we're going to come back and do a little bit more TA on Bitcoin until the top of the hour. From there, we're going to look at some news. From there, we're going to do some altcoin rundown. We're going to be looking at Ethereum, Chainlink, and AVAX. And then until about 10:30, we're going to be doing some news review and some on-chain analysis. And then the show is actually going to be running till about 10:45 to 10:50 today. The show is going to be about 75 minutes. It's normally only 60. So we got a ton of content to cover. Let's go ahead and jump straight into it. Over on Bitcoin, we're going to start on the daily chart as always. And the very first thing I want to show you is that Bitcoin has seen a very bullish last couple of days. As you guys probably know by now, Bitcoin started a rally when it was sitting down here around $60,000 on the 6th of November. We've rallied 10% in 2 days, $6,000, and Bitcoin is currently sitting up here at $65,500. That's very significant because it means that we're very close to double topping up here right around $66,000. In fact, the previous candle body close on Bitcoin back on October the 20th and the opening on October the 21st was at 66,200. We actually managed to breach all the way up to 66,500 recently. So this means that we are basically sitting in a double top formation right now. But the good news is we have not formally finished this rally. We have not concluded an all-time. We have not concluded a cup and handle or anything. We haven't concluded a double top. Nothing to be worried about just yet. But it does mean that we are currently sitting right there around $66,000. Nevertheless, let's go ahead and look here at our volume, because one of the things I want to show you on volume is that just today, and by the way, today is not over yet. Today, we have seen volume rally all the way back up above the volume moving average. This basically means that volume's coming back into the space. That's really important. Why? Well, the reason that it's very important is because whenever there's a lot of volume, then that indicates there's a lot of interest. If there's not interest, then good luck having any kind of major movement. Volume is basically just a measure of how many trades, how many transactions are going on in the space. We want that to be as high as possible, because if it's not, then it means that people don't have interest in the space. And of course, you need people to be interested to get the price to go up. So we've seen the price go up. We're seeing the volume and therefore the interest in the space seeming to go up. That is a very, very important sign. Now, looking down here on the daily chart, again, I want to show you another thing, and that is that we've set consecutive higher lows. What does this mean? Well, Bitcoin's price action works like this. You see that the market goes up and it goes down and it goes up and it goes down and it goes up, and then yada, 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 it just continues on, right? Well, the thing you want to look for are trends. A trend is basically just when the market is moving in a certain direction over a period of time. Is it trending up, or is it trending down, or is it trending sideways? Right now, Bitcoin's market seems to be trending up over the last couple of weeks. Why is that? Well, we've seen 3 consecutive higher highs here on the price action, here on the 25th of October, here on the 2nd of November, and then again today on the 8th of November. And then we've also seen consecutive higher lows right here on the 28th of October and right here on the 6th of November. Basically, that means that Bitcoin is returning to an uptrend, and if it's able to sustain that uptrend, then we will eventually be breaking through this important resistance at 66,000 in keeping with the high volume. So it's all kind of coming together. Right now, Bitcoin's under important resistance. It's got an uptrend backing it. It's got increasing volume, so the market looks pretty healthy, at least from the standpoint that we're looking at here. But let's move on down to the 4-hourly chart and take a look down here. The first thing you're going to notice on the 4-hourly chart is that there's a pretty big red candlestick that formed, and before that candlestick, the last 4-hourly chart candlestick that opened at 300 hours this morning went to 300 to 700 hours because the time changed, so it's a little bit different than it normally is. This is very important. This candlestick right here is what is known as a spinning top formation. Basically, what a spinning top is exactly what it sounds like. Think of a dreidel, one of those tops that you spin. It's got the body in the middle, and then it's got these 2 little things that go out from either end, and you can spin it, and it's symmetrical, so you can spin it on its top or on its bottom. That's what a spinning top is on the market. It spins, and essentially what this candlestick represents is it represents indecision. It basically is telling us, hey, the market really doesn't know what it wants to do. It means that we've moved from a solid uptrend where the market is moving to the upside to now we're trading sideways. Well, why do we know that? Basically, if you see a wick, that more or less means that whichever faction was in charge of that movement got rejected. So if there's a wick, these little lines, those are called wicks. If there's a wick to the upside, then that means the bulls, the people that are buying the market, pushing the market to the upside, they tried to rally the market, but they got rejected because the bears pulled it back down. The wick to the downside is the opposite. If we move to the downside and then we get pulled back to the upside, then that essentially means that the bears were the ones that got rejected. So if you see a spinning top with a long wick on either side, then that essentially means that the bulls got rejected and the bears got rejected. Essentially, you can think of it like a battle where one side wins for a little bit and then the other side wins for a little bit, but overall not much ground was gained on either side. What that means is that the market moved from an uptrend to a sideways trend, and then that is one step in the wrong direction because that means we're moving into a short-term downtrend. So the last 4 hours have been a little bit bearish. I wouldn't say this is anything to be worried about. And the reason is very simple. If you zoom out here to the 4-hourly chart, you can see that there's actually an uptrending level of support on Bitcoin that gives us support right here around 64,800. The way I found that is just by looking at previous highs. And I said, okay, these 3 highs, they basically look like they make a trend line here. And then I just went ahead and connected those like this, and then I extrapolated. Basically, what I'm seeing right here is that Bitcoin on the 4-hourly could pull as far as 64,700. From there, I would expect it to bounce and rally and move back to all-time high. I do think that we're going to be sitting at or above all-time high in the next couple of days, but we'll go into more analysis and predictions on that in a second. Now, one thing I want to show you here on the 4-hourly chart is called the Bollinger Bands. Bollinger Bands are very, very important because the Bollinger Bands essentially tell us whether the market is overextended or not. You can see that we got very far outside of the Bollinger Bands, which is a good and a bad thing. It's a good thing because it means the market has brought in some more momentum, but it's a bad thing because it means that Bitcoin needs to have a correction. So like I said, expecting a correction down here to this uptrend, and then we're likely going to bounce. And by the way, guys, I can't go over all of the analysis that we do. We literally have 3 or 4 people working on all of our analysis before we come live here. There is so much that's going into what I'm saying, more than I'm able to show you here on camera, but but I just want to give you kind of the take that we have based on all of the research, on all the analysis that we've all done, and then back it up a little bit. But just know there's a lot more that goes into this than I have time here to go over. If I did go over all of it, we would literally be here for like 5 hours, and I know you guys would like that, but my vocal cords probably would not. With that said, I want to show you the RSI down here on the 4-hourly chart also. Take a look at this. We did push all the way up to 75 on RSI. That essentially tells us, hey, the bulls are very strong because we managed to push this far to the upside. Remember, RSI is the relative strength index. It tells us how strong are the bulls relative to the bears and vice versa. But now we're seeing a small correction. So again, 4-hourly chart, my opinion and conclusion on this is that Bitcoin is very bullish, yes, but it needs to calm down a little bit. It needs to have a little bit of a correction so that it can reset and rally. I think it's going to do all of that. I think it's going to be just fine. Now, with that said, I do want to go back out to the daily chart and do a little bit of technical analysis on an indicator that we use pretty commonly here called Market Cipher. Market Cipher is an indicator that I've been using recently. It is one of a couple of indicators that I've been using and learning more about recently, and it shows up down here. This is called Market Cipher B. Looks really complicated. I'm going to break it down as simply as I possibly can. It's basically set up in 4 different lines. You have this line up here. I'm going to call this the RSI. It's a little bit more complicated than normal RSI, but that's pretty much what it's called. Then this blue wave right here is called the momentum. Right here, this is called the money flow, and then this right down here is called the VWAP. So we're going to analyze these and try and get a take on what the market is doing. Here on the daily chart, we are getting a pretty strong buy setup, and in fact, that buy setup came yesterday, but of course, we weren't live yesterday, so I couldn't show you this. RSI is trending to the upside. That's very bullish. Momentum, this blue line, is trending to the upside. We see this green dot right here. That is a bullish signal. VWAP right here. Excuse me, I'm sorry, not VWAP. Money flow right here is trending to the upside. That basically means more money is flowing into the space right now than we saw a couple of days ago. That's very bullish. Again, I talked about earlier that retail investor interest. We're seeing more of that right now. Very good sign. And then this little kind of angular line down here, this is called the VWAP, is moving up very, very rapidly. So essentially what we're seeing out of Market Cipher is that yesterday was a very strong buy signal. Today, a lot of the bullish pressure that was going to come probably already has, but we're still looking pretty bullish on Market Cipher. If you had have taken that yesterday, then you would have probably been able to predict this big movement from $63,000 to $66,000 today. But again, just the way it works, you know, we got to have a day off every once in a while. We don't stream on Sunday, so I wasn't able to show you that. But as you can see right here, we're still very bullish. We might just need a little bit more time to kind of correct. We're going to look here at the 4-hourly chart, and then we're going to do a couple more points, and then we're going to go into a 5-minute intermission, read some super chats, interact with you guys. If you're enjoying today's show, please consider hitting that like button. It helps to promote the channel and the algorithm. If you think more people would get value out of the content that we're providing to you guys, then that is one way that you can support the channel. We're very appreciative of you, and also consider subscribing if and only if you are enjoying this content and you feel that it is bringing you value. We're probably going to be hitting 200,000 subscribers tomorrow, so thank you very much to all of the Jebb Knights all around the world. I've had the great pleasure of meeting several of you guys in person now, and I absolutely love that every single time. But let's move on here to the 4-hourly chart. 4-hourly chart is telling us something a little bit different from the daily chart. The 4-hourly chart looked very bullish around noon on November the 6th. What do I mean by this? Well, we had a green dot down here. This is called the momentum. Remember, this blue level is called the momentum. We had a green dot. That is, you see that this momentum is actually made up of 2 different lines. You can see that it's a dark blue, light blue, and whenever that crosses right here, you can get a green or a red dot. That's not the only way that you get a green or a red dot, but it roughly correlates. This green dot saw momentum moving to the upside. We saw money flow, which is this red kind of flat line right here. It was moving to the upside, crossed the 0 level. This is the 0 level. Market Cipher B is an oscillator, so we are oscillating around the 0 level. It means that we're going above and below it, but we normally tend to go back to the center. We saw the momentum was moving to the upside. Money flow was moving to the upside. VWAP breached the 0 level, moved to the upside, and RSI was moving to the upside. I have not even looked at the price action chart just yet, but I can tell you that right about here was a buy signal. I'm actually going to say probably right about maybe here or there was a buy signal on Market Cipher. Let's take a look at what the market did. Boom, rallied 8% after that happened. So guys, if you want to get Market Cipher, we also have a link for that down below. It's a great product. It's one of a few indicators that we look at. So essentially what we're seeing right now, guys, let me kind of break all the TA up into a nice neat bow right here. We're going to go into an intermission. We're going to come back and do some more. What's going on? Bitcoin just had a big rally. It's very bullish. We love it. We are very excited for what Bitcoin's going to do over the next week or so. I think an all-time high break is coming relatively soon. That being said, the last 2 days, Saturday and mostly Sunday, we rallied quite a bit. and Bitcoin doesn't want to rally $15,000 and then crash $12,000. We want Bitcoin to rally $3,000, correct $500. Rally $4,000, correct $1,000. We want to see more often but smaller corrections, and the good news is that's what we're seeing. In my opinion, I think Bitcoin is going to have a small correction down to around $64,500 to $64,750, somewhere in that region. Then I think we're going to bounce. Then I think we're going to rally. And I'm just going to be honest with you. I think the next couple of weeks, we're going to see Bitcoin take back the reins from Ethereum, and Bitcoin is going to be the one leading this major rally, and then the altcoin is going to get a little bit left in the dust. But we shall see. We're going to look at that more later. Let's go ahead and move into a 5-minute intermission. We're going to read some super chats. I'm going to finally get to take a breath after 15 minutes, and then we're going to jump right back into the TA. Take it away, Mr. Tim.
Yeah, well, so before I do the super chats, because what I see so far, I only have 2 of them. But Smay texted me during it, and sure enough, it's outside. I hope you guys don't hear it. Maybe you do. There's construction happening right outside.
Looks like they're
window.
actually chopping down a tree.
I think they're like chopping. Either they're chopping down a tree. He said like things are like falling against the window. I don't know if
no, they leaned up like metal.
It's hard to know if you guys hear
panels.
that.
And I have done a very good job of not getting distracted,
Jebb
though they're
laser focused.
I didn't even really mention it, guys, but there's literally 7 people doing landscaping right behind this camera, and I'm watching them and trying so hard not to get distracted.
Yeah, no, I was kind of like internally freaking out, but we're good.
I don't think they can hear it.
Anyway, we'll get to the super chats. The first one actually is Delahawe. By the way, I also pronounce all names wrong.
Only
that's
mispronunciations are allowed.
He didn't even donate. He didn't even say anything. He just wanted to donate 1.79 pounds, I think is what that is.
Thank you very much.
So thank you so much. Julian38 said, can you do a 2-minute TA on Cody? Cup and handle on the 1 daily.
Do we have time for that, Tim? I probably can.
I don't know. I mean, the truth is we have no other super chat, so you
I can look at it for a second. Let's take a look at Cody. You guys have been asking about Cody for a very long time. I think we looked at it last week, but I'll look at it briefly. I'm not even going to do 2 minutes. I'm going to do like 1 minute on this because I want to be able to read other chats that are not super chats since we've gone through all the super chats. Does Cody look like it's forming a cup and handle? I have not pre-analyzed this. I am doing this analysis on the fly, just so you guys know. We're on the daily chart. Cody over dollar, over US dollar tether. I think what you're talking about is this. I personally would not call this a cup and handle, and the reason is the cup's not deep enough and the handle is too large. I wouldn't call this a cup and handle, but you might be saying that this is a cup and handle. You might be able to make an argument that this is a cup and handle going all the way back to March, but I personally wouldn't say that either. The way that I would analyze this market is based on the fact that it hit all-time high here around 50 cents. It's pulled back, it's tested it, it has confirmed this as a level of support, and then if the fundamentals are there, which I don't follow Cody that closely, so I don't really know if the fundamentals are there, but if the fundamentals are there, watch for it to hold 48 cents. That's going to be your level that you're going to need to pay close attention to. That's all the time I have for Cody right now, though.
Yeah, that's actually pretty crazy. Like, it's like a cup and handle within a cup and handle.
I know, yeah, it's nuts. Let's go back to full screen. Let's see, are there any other chats that are not super chats? And then we can read those. I love reading chat, guys.
There was a name I saw earlier. Let me see if I can find it. It was a great name, and I'm actually, this one I probably wouldn't mispronounce. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can. Oh, it was so good. But what did you, T. Shroom, have you seen anything in chat that you thought was worth responding to? Negative. Okay, here. I cannot find this name.
Now's the time.
I think what it is, at the end of the day, Jebb, we'll go back in. We'll start our segments a little earlier. But just so everyone knows, we have 3,000 people watching. Thank you so much. That is awesome. We have 667 likes, though. I feel like that's
we can do better than that. We can get to 1,000 pretty quick.
Easily could be at 1,200, if not 1,300. Real quick. So make sure you guys hit that like button. And if you're new here and you love what we're doing, make sure to consider hitting that subscribe button.
Hey,
it really helps us out, and it will help you out because you'll now get notified every time we go live, and you'll have great content for yourself every day.
We got the Crypto Keeper in chat. Friend of mine from around the blockchain, also a YouTuber and a TikToker, owns his own construction business. Really cool guy. The sound of Jebb's voice in the shower. It's only weird if you're making it weird. Ooh. No, that's pretty weird. I'm sorry, man. I love you, but that's a little weird. Make sure to go subscribe to his channel because you can find more weird analysis over there. Welcome to the channel, my friend. We did just have a... I actually do know how to pronounce that, but Tim, I'm going to let you try because we have 2 more minutes here.
Well, the good news is when you're trying to pronounce it wrong, it's really easy.
That's true.
So Abdullah Safar. Actually, there's another L in there. Abdullah Safar.
I think you pronounced it right.
Darn it.
You're supposed to pronounce it wrong.
Abdullah Safar.
I think that's correct. Your thoughts about Curve DAO token? Haven't looked into it. I'm working on learning more about altcoins. I just bought a bunch of Chainlink yesterday. If you want to see my video on that, go back and watch the channel. But guys, we're going to jump back in.
I was actually gonna say before we jump back into the segment, I actually have a question. I want to ask you guys real quick.
Let's hear it.
What right now would you say if you had to start over right now with like I don't know, like $1,000? What would your split be like just for the next week?
For the next week?
Yeah.
That's a good question. That's a really good question. Let's run a minute long here so we can answer that. My split for the next week? All in on Dogecoin. I'm joking. Please don't do that. That's a joke. Don't do that. For the next week, I think we're going to have to look at some more technical analysis before I can properly answer that. What do you think, Tim?
Yeah, I'm looking at it. So if I had to choose Cardano, Bitcoin, and Ethereum, I would say Bitcoin. Although I think Cardano, again, is very close behind. But then that's not even considering Chainlink and Avalanche and Solana. Like, these are things like we haven't even like looked at. So like I'm not looking at those TAs right now. I need to see what's happening there. Obviously, there's going to be that one obscure coin that's probably ranked number 347. It's going to have like a 40% growth next week, but that's going to be hard to predict. So, yeah.
Well, guys, let's go ahead and jump straight back on into the technical analysis. We will talk more about that a little bit later on in the show. Basically, what's going to happen for the rest of the show, guys, we're going to go into even more technical analysis on Bitcoin because I know you guys want to know what's happening on BTC. But then after that, we're going to go into another intermission. We're going to read some super chats, interact with you guys. Then we're going to do some analysis on Ethereum, AVAX, and Chainlink, I believe is what we're going to be looking at. Then we're going to go into a discussion. First, then we're going to go into some news. Then we're going to go into a discussion. Then we're going to wrap it out. We're going to be going for another hour or so. So make sure if you're enjoying today's stream, smash that like button. I know we can get 1,500 likes in the next couple of minutes. And the reason that I talk about the like button so much, and it seems like I'm shilling it, is because it really does help us in the algorithm. Whenever you like the video, it allows more people to see the content. And if you think this content is something that is worth spreading, then hitting that like button is very much appreciated. If you don't like the video, hit this like button. We love honest feedback. Let's go ahead and look back at my chart, and we will do some technical analysis. Now, I'm going to go into a little bit of what we call the bearish segment because I want to make sure that you guys are getting both sides of the story. It's very important to me that you guys don't walk away from this stream with a biased point of view. I want you to walk away from this stream with an honest point of view. I want you to walk away from this stream knowing the bullish and the bearish, because if you only know the bearish, you might get wrecked if you're in a short trade. If you only know the bullish, you might get wrecked if you're in a long trade. I want you guys to be fully informed on both sides so that you're not blindsided by anything. I'd rather you have your expectations lower and then get surprised pleasantly rather than having your expectations high and getting unpleasantly surprised. On Bitcoin, I do need to point this out. Even though I think Bitcoin's going to have just a small correction and then a bounce and a rally, we technically are forming a double top right now. Technically speaking, it's a double top, and until that breaks, it is a bearish formation. Why? Well, a double top is a signal that the market is having trouble getting above a level of resistance. Double topping essentially means that the market has lost its momentum and that it has lost its strength. Bitcoin right now is at the very beginning stages of a big movement to the upside that could drive it to $70,000, $80,000, $90,000 by the end of the month. But if we don't manage to get above $65,000, $66,000, and here's the key, with confidence, it's going to be very difficult for that to happen. Bitcoin so far has not had the confidence to break through $66,000. It's been kind of, got cold feet. It needs to get above 66K. Hasn't happened yet. After it does, we'll be much more bullish on Bitcoin. But for right now, I'm basically saying, all right, Bitcoin, you're bullish. Prove it. Let's see you break 66K. If you're so bullish, then let's see you go up there and do it, right? Hasn't happened yet. We want it to happen. I do think it's going to, but so far it is a promise that is yet unproven. Definitely make sure that you remember that. Now, one thing I also want to mention here on the 4-hourly chart is that we have seen an uptick in volume over the last 12 to 16 hours, but the volume is actually still relatively low. Take a look at the volume moving average. That's this line down here, and these volume bars represent relative to each other how much volume the market has witnessed on each candlestick up top. The volume moving average is a 20 moving average. It basically just takes the average height of the last 20 volume bars into account and then shows you what the average of all of them are. The volume moving average down here shows that volume has gradually been moving to the downside. Well, if we're going to move into a big old uptrend, I want to see that volume climb. Take a look here at the volume. I'll even show you on the 12-hour. It'll be a little easier to see. Take a look at what the volume looked like back over here in October when we were in this rally compared to what we look like right here. Volume was, let me just go ahead and draw a horizontal line. Volume during that uptrend was basically right there. Volume right now is basically right here. Take a look at that difference. Volume is like 40% lower right now than it was during the October uptrend. That is kind of what I'm talking about when I say, hey, look, I love you, Bitcoin. I think you're going to do well. I have confidence in you. but go ahead and prove it to me before I get really bought in. I am bought in. I mean, maybe that's the wrong way to say it, but before I'm really confident that you're going to break and rally. Now, looking down here on the 4-hourly chart, there is something else I want to mention to you, and that is that there is what is known as a bearish engulfing candlestick formation forming. What is that? What's a bearish engulfing candlestick? That's a big word. A bearish engulfing candlestick, let me show you an example back here on the chart, is a very fancy word for a very simple phenomena. Whenever a red candlestick is bigger than the green candlestick that happened before it, that's what's known as a bearish engulfing candlestick. Why is it a bearish engulfing candlestick? Well, let's break down those words. Candlestick, it has to do with candlesticks. Duh, that's the easiest one. Bearish, we're looking at the second candlestick being red. If we were looking at the second candlestick being green, it'd be bullish, but since the second one is red, it's bearish. Engulfing just means that it's larger. So these two candlesticks right here on November the 3rd, from midnight through 8 a.m. Was a bearish engulfing candlestick. And what did we see? We saw Bitcoin had a pretty big drop following that. We saw a pretty large candlestick down here, then we saw a large wick down here. This bearish engulfing candlestick indicated, hey, we're going to the downside. Well, that's what we've just seen right now. We see a bearish engulfing candlestick. Remember, candlestick has to do with candlesticks. Bearish, the second candlestick is red. Engulfing just means that the red candlestick is bigger than the green candlestick before it. This bearish engulfing candlestick can oftentimes be taken as a topping out formation, meaning that the market may be reaching a local top. If that's the case, then again, the theory that I've come up with, that Bitcoin's going to have a small correction before a big rally, is likely to come to pass. It all kind of goes back to this uptrend that I'm finding on Bitcoin right here. If we don't hold that, then we are going to have some hell to pay. Now, let's go out to the daily chart. And we're going to do some technical analysis with my favorite indicator, Lux Algo. I am hands down in love with this indicator, guys, and it is giving us a very exciting signal that I am so excited to share with you guys. Here on the daily chart, Lux Algo has finally given us a strong buy signal. Now, pause. Before I even go into this, I just need to explain something on Lux Algo because this is a common misconception. Lux Algo is not meant to just be read for the buy and the sell signals. That is just the surface level. That's like 5% of it, guys. There is so much to this indicator, and the reason I say that is because oftentimes people get caught up saying like, hey, look, there was a sell signal here and then Bitcoin rallied. What the heck? Well, there's a lot more to Lux Algo than just the buy and the sell signals. I mean, literally, if I go and turn all of it on, it looks crazy. We've got that. We've got the trend catch. Excuse me, not the trend catch. We've got Lux Oscillator down here. There's a lot to it. So we're going to break it down nice and easy. I'm going to go ahead and turn the trend tracer off there for a second. What is Lux Algo saying? Well, first and foremost, we see a strong buy signal. What does that mean? Well, that means not that we should be necessarily buying the market. What it means is that we should go and look at the rest of our analysis and say, hey, does the rest of our analysis back up the idea of buying the market? Because remember, Lux Algo is not a magical indicator. It is a mathematical equation, just like every single other technical indicator. It's phenomenal. It's great. I love it. But you simply cannot just rely on math. You can't do it. That's why trading bots can, at best, maybe average 1% a day when a human could average, 50% a day if they're really good at trading. Human intellect and human wisdom is absolutely paramount, and that's why I want you guys to study this stuff and learn on your own. Anyway, soapbox over. Right now, we see a strong buy signal on Lux Algo. We are above the trend catcher right here. The trend catcher oftentimes will give a signal preceding the buy and the sell signal. You can see the trend catcher turned red right here. That's this red line turned red back here on September the 6th. We didn't see the sell signal until September 20th. This gave us a signal a full 2 weeks before the strong sell signal came in. Over here, we saw the trend catcher turn green 24 hours before the strong buy signal came in. And the important thing here that we've been covering the last 2 weeks is that the trend catcher never actually turned red. It's been green this whole time. Basically, since it's been green this whole time, we've been saying, hey, look, guys, we're in consolidation. We're not in a giant crash. We're not in a giant correction. We are simply consolidating. That's what the trend catcher has told us. And because it's still green, and because now that we've seen the strong buy signal, those two things together, not separate, together are giving us a lot of confidence. Now, looking down here to Lux Oscillator, which is another part of the Lux Algo premium package, you can see that we have seen a uptick here in the Lux Oscillator. In fact, just the last 24 hours, we've seen a pretty large uptick in it. The last time we saw a major uptick in Lux Oscillator just like this was back over here on October the 10th. What happened? Well, following that, we saw the market have a pretty large rally all the way from 55,000 to 66,000. So the fact that we've seen a pretty big jump on Lux Oscillator is absolutely phenomenal. We're very excited about that. All in all, the daily chart's looking great, and the final thing I'll say on the daily chart is this. The reversal zones up here, which have become so useful in my analysis, I mean, take a look at how well the market respects these reversal zones. They're absolutely incredible. When I was talking to the CEO of Lux Algo, he literally told me, Yeah, we love these reversal zones so much. We were like, oh, should we give that to the public? And then they decide to because they're good people. But nevertheless, the reversal zones up here on Bitcoin, which can act almost like a price target zone, are sitting up here around $77,000 to $86,000. We made a price prediction of $88,000 recently based on an extrapolation of the bull pennant that we're in, which, by the way, we're breaking out of right now. I think that is likely. So Lux Algo is giving us a lot of confidence right now. Looking down to the 4-hourly chart, going to run through this pretty quickly, but Lux Algo down here on the 4-hourly chart is giving us as follows. We had a strong buy signal. We had a strong sell signal right here, but again, remember guys, I've told you this before, Lux Algo is not a ranging indicator. It's a trending indicator. It really shines when the market is in a clear uptrend or a clear downtrend. We were in a clear sideways trend right here. That's not where this indicator shines, at least not this part. The other parts of it do, but the strong buy and sell signals, that's a trending indicator, so you got to use the indicator to its strength. Don't ask a fish to climb a tree, as Einstein said. But we've seen a strong buy signal. Trend catcher has jumped to the upside. But the important thing to note here is that we are getting into the reversal zone. Indicates that we might need to have a small correction, maybe down here to the actual trend catcher, which is at 64,000, which is a bit lower than what I'm saying at 64.5. But again, the point is we're bullish. We just need a small correction. So that's what I'm seeing right now on Lux Algo. Again, if you guys want to get access to Lux Algo, it's a phenomenal indicator. It's become an invaluable part of my analysis. You can sign up with the link down below. Use coupon code Jebb, J-E-B-B, but only if you really think it's going to help you in your analysis. I would never encourage you to buy a product that you don't think you're going to use. If you think it's going to be helpful for you, make sure to check it out. Link is down below, and you will be helping to support this channel. Let's go ahead and go into an intermission because I know we have some more super chats to read, and then we'll run into the altcoin market. Can't wait.
Yeah, we have a lot.
Let's go.
Elo Brown. That's probably spelled right, or it's probably pronounced right. I don't know. Elo Brown. Just to thank you for all you have done to change my life. Mad love and God bless.
God bless you. Thank you, man. So that kind of stuff is awesome.
Here we go. Ryan Jenkins said, sometimes these simple names are hard to mess up. You know, if it's simple, I might just read it right. Ryan Jenkins said, do we think that ADA will follow Bitcoin run finally? It seems as if it has made a few simultaneous moves recently versus staying more stagnant in the past couple months.
I think ADA is building for a gigantic movement. I think ADA is going to move like crazy. I just think that it's going to take a little bit of time to realign. It's going to take a little bit of time for the cryptocurrency market to kind of realign itself and get into a big uptrend. I think that Bitcoin needs to be the one to lead this. Oftentimes, Bitcoin will lead the market, and then Ethereum and the altcoins will follow. I think that's kind of what we're seeing right now. Bitcoin's kind of, sucking up all of the attention. It's going to take off, and then we're going to follow along on the alts.
Let's see here. Keep moving on. Kyle Boucher said, is mana in a bull flag?
Haven't looked at
I did. So short answer, Kyle, it is in a bull flag. Now, that doesn't mean necessarily it always breaks bullish and is going to rally. I didn't do full TA on it, but when I saw the super chat, I went and looked. But theoretically speaking, yes, no. If you go to that chart, it is in a bull flag. You are correct. There's a decent chance it continues to have another rally, but it's not necessarily guaranteed. Need to do more before I could say that with any certainty.
Yep.
Here is a great one that I know I'll mispronounce. Kare Atar Mountain Twig.
Mountain Twig. Dude's name is Mountain Twig. I love it.
Kare Atar Mountain Twig. That's the name.
Okay, gotcha.
Is now the best time to accumulate small cap alts to alt season or after the Bitcoin rally?
I think now's not a bad time, and the reason is, now, first and foremost, you need to make sure that you're getting a good deal. It's very common for people to buy a market after it's already rallied. If you're going to buy a market, the easiest way to figure out, hey, am I getting a good deal on this? Take a look at the daily chart and weekly chart RSI. If the daily chart and weekly chart RSI are sitting at 80, you're probably not getting a good deal because it probably just underwent a massive run. If, however, the daily chart and weekly chart are sitting at 30, 40, 50, you might be getting a good deal and getting in early. But if you're buying it early, if you're buying it too late, then you're just FOMOing in. You want to be careful about that. That being said, if you can find a good deal, I think a lot of these altcoins are going to absolutely moonshot. But you just got to be careful and take it on a case-by-case basis.
Yeah. Last one I see here, and I'll check the chat to make sure I didn't miss anything, but Den Poppins said, hey guys, could you look at Saito or S-A-I-T-O? Amazing use case, something for another episode perhaps, so you can look into it. Been on an absolute tear. Great episode, by the way. Hashtag ADA gang.
Hashtag ADA gang. Thank you very much for that. We can potentially look at that at some point in the future. There are so many. If we get asked about so many altcoins, so hopefully we'll be able to look at it. But we would be literally just sitting here 24/7.
What would be even better though is if you guys knew how to look at the TA yourself.
Oh
you
yeah.
could look at anything you ever wanted at any time.
That's a really good point, Tim. Where can they find out about that?
And CT2A.
Oh my gosh, what's that?
It is a course.
It is. and it's
It
linked
is
below.
awesome.
It is awesome.
Very helpful. Very helpful. I've told people this before, but honestly, like my road to learning TA, that 1-2 punch of watching those videos, learning, and then coming and watching the show, being on the show, and then being wrong, like being wrong and having Jebb correct you or somebody else correct you, and then you go back and do your homework. You're like, oh crap, I was wrong. You know, but now you know. If you don't know what TA is, you don't know when you're wrong, when you're right.
Tim has learned very fast. I was telling Tim this over the weekend. I'm like, dang, Tim, you haven't even been doing analysis for a year, and you're like pretty much caught up to where I am. And I've been doing it for 4 years. That's like good on you, man.
Well,
That's phenomenal.
But again, this sounds like a plug. That's how good CD2A is. If you watch CD2A, like this, I'm not even lying to you, Jebb. It's probably been at least 3 or 4 times that I've actually said this happened. You're like, what? And I've explained it to you, and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, that's cool. And I was like, well, that's in one of your CD2A videos.
Yeah.
Like, so, like, CD2A teaches Jebb still. So, like,
It's great. That's what there are people that, and I swear this is not a planned selling segment. We just love the product because we love it so much. There are many times where people will be like, man, I bought CD2A like 3 years ago, and then I keep going through it like every month as part of a routine just to keep myself up to date because it's very easy to forget stuff. Anyway, wasn't trying to go into a big sales pitch there.
I just want to say real quick, it's
sure.
so good that even Smay knows TA now.
Yeah,
Smay's
learning
been going
TA.
through it.
Smay is learning TA. Smay is doing great. Smay is absolutely killing. Smay was talking about Elliott waves earlier. I'm like, dang, Smay, you've been making some progress, dude. We have one more super chat. Let's go ahead and read that one, Tim, before we move on.
Yes, it is from. Oh, yeah. Wait, there was one earlier too. I think we missed it from Abdullah Safar, where he actually said I pronounced his name right. I don't know.
I was going to say, I think you got it right.
Yeah, well, anyway, so in this one, he says, when Luxalgo gives a buy or sell signal, what will be the next signal that will make me close a position?
Right. So Lux Algo, the strategy that I use with it, and this is why I think it's so useful, you can't just look at buy and sell signals. That's a mistake. They even say so on their website. It's important, don't get me wrong, but it's just one piece of the package. I look at 3 things. So pay attention here. You can find all 3 of them. The trend catcher, the Lux Algo buy and sell signals, and then the Lux oscillator changing direction. I'll just go ahead and show you right now. And then after I show you this, we're going to move into our altcoin segment. Basically, what I do on Lux Algo is I look for 3 things. I look for Lux oscillator to start reversal. This right here is a reversal. This right here is a reversal. That right there is a cross. Then I look for trend catcher. Then I look for a buy and sell signal. So, for example, here we saw Lux Algo started converging on it, or started moving back to Lux Oscillator started moving back towards the 0 level. Okay, that is a early warning sign, if you will. All right, I want confirmation from one of the other 2. One of the 3 always gives you the warning, the other 2 confirm. We saw the warning that we might be going into an uptrend here on September 24th. Then we saw the trend catcher turn green. Okay, now we've got 1 confirmation. Then the next day we saw a strong buy signal. Okay, now we've got 2 confirmations. We had the early warning sign in the Lux oscillator. Then we had 2 confirmations in the trend catcher and the strong buy signal. Guess what happened? If you had have taken that, you would have had a very confident position entered at 47,000, and you would have made 40% on that trade in the span of 16 days because you used that strategy. So that's how I use it. Again, guys, that's what the nuance is. You can't just say, okay, buy and sell signals. Great. Buy and sell signal. I'm going to read that because if you did that, then you would have looked at this and you would have said, okay, yeah, we started moving to the downside, yeah, and we saw the sell signal, but the trend catcher never turned red. Do I really want to buy? Do I really want to sell here? No, not really. And you know why? Because you didn't use the strategy that I use. If you use it, then you would have been better off. That being said, we're going to go ahead and move on now to our altcoin analysis. We are going to do a segment that you guys love. Drop a 1 in chat if you want to see more of this. It's called 2-minute technicals. I am going to spend 2 minutes and I am going to look at the technicals of your favorite cryptocurrencies. And to start with, we're going to look at the altqueen herself, Ethereum. Let's start. Right now, Ethereum is in a massive massive ascending massive ascending wedge, off to a great start here. We have an uptrending level of resistance right here on the daily chart, massive uptrending level of support right here. This is basically telling me, okay, Ethereum has been in a rally ever since September 29th. We've rallied 70% over the course of 40 days. We have not had a correction. It looks very similar to what I've seen happen on Bitcoin, where it rallied and now it needs to consolidate. I am of the opinion that Ethereum needs to consolidate. Where might that happen? Well, ascending wedges like this typically break to the downside with a 70% likelihood. If that does happen, then we have support at several different levels. Number 1, we have support here at 44,000. Where's that coming from? Well, just connect the previous all-time high back over here on May the 12th to the all-time high run, or the close to all-time high run we had here on October 21st, and then that gives us a trend line that we've been respecting And that gives us support level at 4,400. If Ethereum, however, needs to have a bigger correction, which Bitcoin did, you can see here that Bitcoin had to correct all the way negative 15%. If Ethereum did the same thing, it would correct right down here to $4,000, which is another big even level of support. And it also comes into play back over here on September the 4th. It is a level that I could very easily see Ethereum pulling back to. But taking a look at Lux Algo, you can see that we are still very bullish. We've seen a strong buy signal. We've seen the trend catcher turn green, and we have seen this market move to the upside. Now, what we have seen here is that we're still in a very strong uptrend. That's basically telling me that, yeah, we might need a correction, but it's probably not going to be that deep of a correction. It looks like Ethereum's doing very well, and if we look at the volume here, then it has actually been trying to increase over the last little while. Now, taking a look back here at April and May, it's not very high, but in general, it seems to be doing all right. Basically, what I'm seeing here on Ethereum is it's rallied quite a bit, and it needs to have a correction. Why? Well, one, because I think that it's overextended, but two, because I think Bitcoin is about to break its all-time high and then go back into a big rally, and if it does, it's probably going to eat up some of that dominance coming out of Ethereum. Personally, in my opinion, I'm very excited for Ethereum. I think it's going to be over $5,000 before you know it, but I think that it is going to need to capitulate a little bit, let Bitcoin run a little bit, and then it is going to continue running here in a couple of weeks. But Tim, I want to hear your opinion on that. Do you agree?
I know exactly what you just said. I love the end of it where you said it needs to capitulate and let Bitcoin have its little run. If you are looking at Ethereum over Bitcoin, we just broke oh, there we go. I just heard something hit the window. That's great. We just broke bearish out of an ascending wedge, a rising wedge, which it doesn't mean Ethereum's price went down. It just means that Bitcoin's outperforming it. But looking at Ethereum itself, you know, we actually had this little discussion as a team this morning. I do think that we are in the, okay, so on the Elliott waves, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, what's that called, Jebb? It's is it Elliott waves 1, 2, 3, 4, 5?
Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave?
So,
yeah.
so
Jebb,
we are
show it on
looking
your
to
screen?
get very, very close.
Yeah, I can show my chart.
Yeah, we're looking to get very, very close to probably the top of a 3, which means I think that, and we're also in an ascending wedge on that too, on just Ethereum over US dollar. I think we need to come back down at least to the former level of resistance right here at 43.80, if not maybe 41. And all that means is it's a good, healthy retracement to have another bottom point to then rally to hit that 5 point, which that 5 point, you know, it's really hard to predict, but that's going to be well over 5,000, maybe even pushing closer to 6,000.
Yeah, they can see it on my screen right now.
My expectation. Right? So it's actually, if you think about it right, prepare yourself for an amazing Ethereum buy opportunity coming within the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, if it pulls down to 4,100, 4,000, even 4,400 bucks, guys, that is an opportunity. You're not going to want to miss it. Yeah. It is going to be solid. Now, look, Ethereum might continue rallying. It might rally to $5,000 before it corrects. I don't know when exactly it's going to correct. The point is, I do think it's going to, and when it does, I want you guys to be prepared for it, because now is not the time to FUD out of your trade. Now's the time to be loading up your bags, because everything is moonshotting. I think that we're going to have a very bullish November.
It could break early. I just want to say, like, just to even help people, because, again, we want to help educate you guys on how to even think about this stuff. When Jebb says he thinks it could go as high as 5,000, I want to actually explain to them why.
Yeah, sure.
So, Jebb, do you have the ascending wedge drawn up on your chart, because I get to see yours?
I do.
All right. So here's the thing, guys. Normally, under normal conditions, we break bearish out of ascending wedges close to 70% of the way through, except for when there's a massive amount of rallying one way or the other. So in ascending wedges, if the bulls are really strong, we end up going really deep into that triangle. In descending wedges, if the bears are really strong, we go really deep. So the reason why I think Jebb is right that we potentially could touch 5,000 before that correction is because the peak of this ascending wedge is right around $5,000.
Yep.
And we have strong bulls right now. So they potentially could push us all the way up there.
We could do that.
That won't stop. The bulls, though, are not strong enough to stop us from having a correction.
Yeah,
That's just part of a healthy market. So don't be surprised when we correct. But
Which is good, because if the bulls were that strong, they would probably get carried away and then shoot themselves in the foot because they got too overextended. But yeah, I could see Bitcoin going all the way to $5,000. I'm not necessarily saying we're going to. Sorry, Ethereum. Yep. We could see Ethereum have a correction now, or we might see a correction happen a week from now.
Yes.
The point is, it is going to happen at some point, and when it does, don't freak out. It's all part of the plan.
Just get your bags ready to buy some more.
Exactly. With that said, let's go ahead and look at Chainlink. You guys know I bought some Chainlink over the weekend. I want to take a look here at the technicals. Now, I want to clarify my position on Chainlink. I did not buy Chainlink for the technicals. I bought Chainlink for the long run. I'm going to hold it for a couple of years. But that being said, I suppose I could say the technicals do look pretty solid right now. Let's take a look at the technicals over here on Chainlink over Tether. Chainlink over Tether. I'm actually going to bring up the Chainlink over Tether on Coinbase because I have some TA over there. USD. Let me grab that real quick. If not, it's all right. See if I can't get Coinbase up. There we go. Taking a look here at Chainlink over Bitcoin. Chainlink over US dollars, excuse me, we can see that Chainlink right now has several levels of support that are very important, and we're also in an absolutely massive triangle pattern that you guys need to be aware of. In fact, we're in the process of breaking out of it. We're on the daily chart right now. We're looking at the last year or so of price action data. Chainlink has several levels that you guys want to take a look at. Number one is up here around $37. Where is that coming from? Well, we have two tops up here happening back here on February the 21st and happening back here on September the 8th. We also have an even more important level of resistance that is now support that has been in a downtrend and in play ever since May the 8th, when we topped out up here around 53 at all-time high, and then we topped out here at 36 again. That set a downtrend in motion that Chainlink has recently broken bullish out of. In doing so, Chainlink has seen quite a bit of bullish momentum come into the market. And why? Well, in my opinion, I think Chainlink is a phenomenal project. It is the leading Oracle application. It is the leading application that allows for pricing data to be brought into DeFi projects, which is very important. If you want to build any of DeFi, you got to be able to pull data from off the blockchain, such as pricing data of all these different projects. Without Chainlink, a lot of DeFi simply doesn't exist, or without something like Chainlink, most of DeFi simply doesn't exist. It's a multi-$100 billion market now. It's going to be a $1 trillion market by next year, in my opinion. And Chainlink is an integral component to making that whole thing work. There's a reason why Amazon Web Services is actually one of the most profitable sections of Amazon, because it's infrastructure, guys. I always harp on this infrastructure idea. Chainlink is infrastructure. That's one of the reasons I like it. It is the infrastructure for the infrastructure of DeFi. That's what it is. Now, looking down here to the 4-hourly chart, something very interesting is happening right now. And this has just been happening over the last couple of days. Chainlink has been in a massive ascending triangle pattern, and it is currently breaking bullish out of it. This ascending triangle pattern is a little bit wonky, but I'm going to say that its flag is right there, and then its price target is up here right around $40. Right now, we are attempting to break bullish out of this, and Chainlink looks like it might be losing some steam down here on the 4-hourly chart, but we did backtest our flat level of support here at $33.70. If we manage to hold that, it's going to be great. We basically want to see Chainlink rally up to $35, $36, get confidently above this. Right now, Chainlink looks to be in a solid uptrend, but it's going to take a little bit of time to see where that goes. Now, taking a look down here at some of our indicators, we can see that Chainlink is bullish on the MACD, and its RSI is high at 64, but not overbought. Basically, is just telling us that the bulls are in charge. Looking at the daily chart Lux Algo, we can also see that, hey, guess what? That strategy of mine that I tell you guys about looks like it may have given us a signal. Let's take a look at this. We saw now this is a little bit of a weird one, but we saw the Lux oscillator start to bottom out right down here. Then we saw confirmation with a trend catcher reversal right there, then a strong buy signal right there. That saw, right after that happened, we saw it move all the way up here to the reversal zone. Definitely gave us a good signal there, and then we're continuing to move to the upside. Now, the one thing that I'm concerned about here on Chainlink, on its daily chart, is that we're already pushing into its reversal zone right here, and we're seeing decreasing momentum down here on Lux Oscillator Premium. That is indicative to me that we are rallying, we are bullish, but that bullishness is going to be a little bit weak. With that said, guys, we're also going to move on here really quickly to AVAX. Basically, my opinion on Chainlink is that it's bullish, but it still kind of needs to prove itself to me, because I'm not seeing as much bullishness as I would like to. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at Avalanche here. I know you guys love Avalanche, and it is a project that I have been very interested in. It's another project that I'm thinking about investing in, but the thing you need to see here on the daily chart while we're doing our 2-minute technicals is that it is pushing all the way up here to $100. $100 is a mass psychological level of resistance that it is going to be hard-pressed to get through for 2 reasons. Number one, $100 is a massive level. You need to have a lot of power to break through a level like that. But number two, Avalanche has been in a rising wedge ever since May. Basically, what this is saying is that Avalanche is probably going to have a avalanche, knee slapper right there, to the downside. And if it does do that, then its level of support could be as low as $40, $53, which we could see right here, or maybe even right here at $80. I think that Avalanche is a great project, and I think that it is undervalued, and I think that it is going to have a big movement to the upside. But I'm just going to be honest with you, I'm not very confident in this movement, because Avalanche has already rallied 60% in a week. Yes, it could go on an absolute tear and rally up here into the top 10 or something, but at the same time, it's like how far is it going to go? I like Avalanche as a project, but I'm not very confident in this uptrend simply because so much of it has already occurred. Maybe Avalanche is in price discovery mode. Maybe Avalanche is only worth $20 billion right now, but it should be worth $60. Perhaps it could run to $250. I think personally Avalanche needs to have a small correction, not a big one, maybe only down here to $70 or $80, and then we can rally. But personally, remember what I said earlier? Be careful about buying some of these altcoin gems when their RSI is overextended. We're sitting at 80. What does that tell us? That tells us that the bulls are in charge, yes, but it also tells us that we need to be careful, because if we're not, we could get caught in a trade and not be very happy with how it turns out. With that said, guys, we're going to spend 10 minutes or so running through some news. You got something, Tim? You're shaking your head.
I'm looking at AVAX, and first of all, I think it's an ascending wedge long term on the daily chart.
It
I
is,
also am
yeah.
seeing bearish RSI divergence. The MACD looks great, but I see bearish RSI divergence.
Oh, I didn't even see the bearish RSI divergence. That's a good point. Yeah, let me look at that real quick.
I like Avalanche as a project, but as far as if people are saying, should I buy right now, I don't know if that's the right answer.
Yeah, take a look at my chart real quick if it's not already up. There is massive bearish RSI divergence. Uptrend right there, downtrend right there. Not a great sign, guys. Basically means that Avalanche might have an avalanche, making the same pun twice. That's how we roll here on the Crypto Jebb channel. Anyway, guys, we're going to go ahead and move on to a segment where we talk about some news. The very first thing we want to discuss here is the fact that crypto markets hit $3 trillion combined market cap for the first time. Let me put that into perspective for you. That makes cryptocurrencies, the sector of cryptocurrency, like the 5th largest market on the planet. Ahead of it is like real estate, stocks, bonds, and there's not much that's more valuable than Bitcoin anymore. And by the way, Bitcoin is still a preteen. It's not even 13 years old yet. Bitcoin is a tween, and it is one of the largest markets on planet Earth. It's 12 and a half years old, and it's so young that half a year old, they're still in that segment where they're like, oh, I got to add that half in there so I seem as old as I possibly can be. That's what Bitcoin is right now. It'll be turning 3. Now, I know the white paper's birthday was like last week or whatever, but the actual first block that was mined on Bitcoin was January 3rd, 2009. So we're going to be turning, is 12 or 13? I might be crazy. Maybe it's 12. I can't do math while I'm live for some reason, but we're going to be turning another birthday over on January the 3rd. We're a very young market is the point. Bitcoin hit a combined market capitalization of $3 trillion. I'm just going to show you over here on CoinMarketCap here. That article kind of brings up the point, but I just want to show you over here on CMC. Over on CoinMarketCap here, you can see that we did briefly rally all the way up almost to $3 trillion. I don't think we actually formally got quite there, but we got very, very close, guys. We saw market cap rally all the way up to $2.869 trillion. Absolutely crazy, guys. And all market capitalization, excluding Bitcoin, hit $1.6 trillion as well. That's huge, guys. And basically, that's just another signal that Bitcoin is here to stay, that it is doing very well. Now, we also have another interesting story here that I want to hear Tim's take on. Bitcoin just passed Tesla in market capitalization, which quite frankly Tesla's overvalued anyway, so that's not surprising. If you want to argue with me on that, tell me why Tesla's PE ratio is like 10 times higher than every single other stock on the entire stock exchange, on the entire stock market. Nevertheless, I think Tesla's a great company. I just think its stock is too high. But Bitcoin here actually did pass Tesla's market capitalization, and it's knocking on silver's door right now, because silver is sitting at $1.364 trillion. Bitcoin right now is sitting at, let's see here, Bitcoin is sitting at $1.237 billion. Still thinking in small numbers because we move so quickly. We are about to become the 7th largest market on planet Earth, behind gold, Microsoft, Apple, Saudi Aramco, Alphabet, which owns Google, Amazon, and then silver is next. If Bitcoin were to double from here, go to 130,000, then Bitcoin would be the 3rd largest market on the planet, ahead of Apple and only behind Microsoft and gold. Guys, we have been mining silver for 6,000 years, and a preteen asset called Bitcoin is about to surpass it, because it has everything that silver and gold has, except it is a hell of a lot better. Why? Because it is the first example of a digitally scarce asset in the history of mankind. Until Bitcoin was invented, there was no such thing as scarcity on the internet. It was very easy to copy and pay something, and then you have 100 million copies of whatever you want. That's not scarcity. That is infinite supply. You can't build a currency like that. You can't build scarcity like that, and it's very difficult to build anything with value like that. Internet companies have been struggling with that in the realm of IP for a very long time. Blockchain is the answer to that, and it allows the fundamental component of supply and demand economics, that being limited supply, to happen on the internet. frankly, in my opinion, it's surprising that the internet got as far as it did without limited supply economics, which is what Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies allow and blockchain allow. The fact that Bitcoin has rallied so fast in 13 years tells me that the future is bright. I don't think it's going to be that long before we pass gold, which is at 12 trillion. Tim, how long do you think it'll take for Bitcoin to pass gold in market cap? I think you would agree that we're going to.
Oh, I mean, it's actually almost like a foregone conclusion we're going to.
Yeah.
I love how we're ranked number 8. You know, we just passed Tesla. No one ever compares Bitcoin to silver, to Microsoft, to Apple. They only ever compare it to gold, and overwhelmingly, it is said that it will outperform gold. The one problem, and I was reading this week, is right now a lot of institutions are concerned about it because of its volatility being 4 times greater than gold. And as soon as that volatility starts going down, it doesn't even need to match the volatility of gold. I think if we can get the volatility to only double that of gold, mass institutional adoption. Well, I mean, we're already having mass institutional adoption. It will get even more so.
Yeah.
I would not be surprised to see Bitcoin outperform gold within the next 5 years.
I wouldn't be surprised to see that either.
I don't think it's going to take 10, 20, 30 years. I think that Bitcoin is on a spree of taking out all of these top things, and
Bitcoin would need to go to 600,000 to beat gold.
Oh, then
beat gold right
back.
now.
Let's go like 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, but you also got to keep in mind gold is going to rally also because there's an inflation bug going on right now. People are going to buy gold. Gold will probably be at $20 trillion market cap before we pass it.
I'm just saying. I think
so. Bitcoin might need to hit $1 million 2021 US dollars to get there.
But here's what you're seeing though: is these institutions. You're absolutely right. They're going to see the US dollar being inflated. They're going to say, let's move some assets. And I think right now there's a lot of institutions that will say, you know what? I just want to be safe. I'm going with gold.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of institutions every single day changing their mind, saying, you know what? Forget gold. I'm going with something that will last long and will be here for a long time. And that's Bitcoin. Well,
with that said, guys, let's go ahead and move on here to another story. This one's pretty interesting. This former banking giant CEO says banks will start crypto trading in 3 years. I'm going to read through this really quickly. This is just kind of a headline that I figured you guys would be interested in and want to throw it in the pot. The former boss of Citigroup Incorporated, one of the biggest banks on the planet, Vikram Pandit, I think I got that right, predicted that the majority of financial institutions will begin cryptocurrency asset trading in lieu of the decentralized industry's inevitable growth. Pandit spoke at the Singapore FinTech Festival event and told Bloomberg that the shift will be implemented sooner than later, within 1 to 3 years. And I think he's right. Here's why. MasterCard and Visa have already capitulated to Bitcoin. They know that if they don't get on board, they're going to get left behind. They're going to get left behind like Blockbuster did because people like going to a store and renting a movie. Who wants to do that? I'd much rather sit on my couch and pay $4 on YouTube or, pay $7 a month for Netflix. I don't want to go to a store and buy a movie. What are you, crazy? No. MasterCard and Visa don't want to go the way of Blockbuster. They don't want to have the product that's harder to use and more expensive than the new thing. They want to move in the same direction and get a piece of the pie. Well, here's the thing. The banks don't want to get left behind in the custody game by institutions like Coinbase, because they will. They absolutely will if they're not careful. So I think he's totally right. These banks are going to realize they got to jump on the train or they're going to get left behind. And here's the thing. They don't want Bitcoin and cryptocurrency to become what it is inevitably going to be, and they're going to fight it tooth and nail. They already are. But they will lose that battle, and they are aware of that. They'll fight it for as long as they can because they are tied to the previous institutional system because it's how they made their money. But if they don't get on board, they can have all the power that they think they have, all they want, but they're just not going to survive. If they want to maintain their power, they're going to get on board or they're going to get left behind. What were you going to say, Tim?
No, I'm just finding someone in chat. Freedom Advocate said Blockbuster. Wow, I still owe the money. I'm pretty sure it's safe to say the majority of us who are over the age of like 25 probably owe them money.
I don't know Blockbuster any money. I think there's one Blockbuster.
That's what I said. I think you got to be over like 25.
I think there's one Blockbuster left in America. And it's like a novelty. I think it's in Alaska. Yeah. I think there's one.
I'm actually pretty sure that one just recently closed down.
Oh my god!
Did it really? Oh no, the final Blockbuster. Come on, people can make like a pilgrimage there to make sure they pay their late fees. Oh well, be one reason to go to Alaska, I suppose, other than the natural beauty. With that said, we have a story coming from Taylor Shrum's cackling over there in the background.
That made me laugh too.
Incoming New York mayor wants crypto taught in schools. Now, this is an interesting one because in the words of Kelly Kellum, who is one of our researchers who lives in New York City, that is some indoctrination that we can get behind. If you guys don't know, I am absolutely... How do I say this in a polite way? I hate the way that we do education in not just America, but in most of the world. I think it's a completely broken system, and I do think it amounts to more or less indoctrination. I could go all day on that. I'm going to spare you. The point here is the incoming New York Mayor Eric Adams believes schools should be preparing students to navigate the world of cryptocurrency and digital assets. That's a step in the right direction because you know what's an actual practical skill set? Understanding how blockchain works. You can make some money with that. You can interact in the digital economy with that. If a school is going to teach anything, it should probably be something that you're actually going to use. If you're going to be learning all these stupid math formulas, at least say, hey, you need to learn this because you're going to be doing physics one day and you said you want to become a physicist, and if you're going to become a physicist and you want to study a star, then you know how to use whatever. Have some application. This is an example of, hey, there's some application here. You're going to use this. Here are the tangible ways that you are going to benefit from learning this. Okay, you interested? All right, dope. Let's go teach you it. That's how education should be done. It's not done that way. Again, I will spare you the soapbox. But the point here, Eric Adams, who is the New York mayor-elect, wants it to be taught in schools. He says, we must open our schools to teach the technology, to teach this new way of thinking. Why is this important? Eric Adams is about to be the mayor of one of the largest economies on the planet. If New York City was a country, it'd be like the 10th largest economy on the planet. Just so you know, it'd be a top 10% economy in the world, regardless of the fact that it's one city. This dude has 8 million people in his constituency, and the greater metropolitan area around New York City is like 25 million people. He is one of the most powerful men in America. If you don't realize that, then you absolutely need to. Him being bullish on Bitcoin is a very bullish thing. Nevertheless, we have one final story here. And this is something that is going to spill over a little bit into our intermission, but I want to hear Tim's opinion on this. This is something that, well, actually, Tim, you haven't really looked at CME gaps that much, but I want to hear your take on it anyway. Basically, what we're seeing here is that over the weekend, CME futures gap was set, I think they can see this, between $61,605 and $62,905. So we haven't talked about CME futures gaps in a while, because they haven't happened in a while. The last CME futures gap we saw was back from July 23rd to July 25th from $32,650 to $34,475. You can see it right over here. Basically what a CME futures gap is the result of the fact that CME futures do not trade on weekends. So any price action that happens over a weekend does not get recorded on a CME chart. What that basically means is that there are gaps in the price action. In this case, there's about a $1,000 gap between roughly $61,000 and $63,000, about $2,000 gap actually. The theory goes that those gaps get filled. The market will correct down and fill that gap. And I can even show you over here, if I go to BTC USD, I think I go to BTC USD. I don't know if I can find it really quickly here, but nevertheless, there would be a gap like right here, and the market would have to come down and fill it. This has been a narrative for a very long time. Tim, I know you don't have a ton of experience talking about CME futures gaps, but what's your initial perspective from someone who hasn't seen
I remember dealing with this.
Okay.
Some of my stray, I'm not very familiar with CME and the history of it and everything, but I do know that thought of like when you see a gap like that, the prediction is that we'll come down and fill the gap. And I just think that that is absolutely ridiculously stupid in the sense of the fact that, like what you just said, they're not even open on the weekends. They're not recording that information. I think that there are some people, some traders who will follow that logic, but I don't think that that's going to hold up for crypto. I think trading crypto is a completely different game than trading on the stock market and trading things that have been around for a long time and the volatility is low. So, I mean, I don't have anything else to say other than I understand what they're trying to say, but that's, I don't even know. I'm trying to think of a good analogy. It's just taking a thought from something that's completely different and trying to apply it to crypto.
It's a self-fulfilling prophecy is what it is.
Yeah, I just think it's dumb. Yeah.
Well, let's go ahead and move here into a segment of Super Chats. I would love that. By the way, Alfonso Lozano just said, I bought CT2A and it's been the best for me to learn the charts. Better part of it all is that Jebb literally goes over recent price action using what he teaches in his lectures. There you go. CT2A is linked down below if you guys want to learn more. And by the way, hit that like button. Let's see if we can get a 2,500 likes before we wrap it out. Thank you guys so much. 4,300
viewers, 1,700 likes. It's not a great ratio. We can get that ratio up, guys. Either way, though, we do thank you for being here. As Jebb said, if you don't like it, hit the dislike button. Let us know. Give us that feedback.
Give us some feedback.
But super chats, we have a lot of them. We're gonna go as quickly as possible. Max Madman. Oh, I forgot I'm supposed to mispronounce these, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's really hard. Mix Madmain. I don't know how you wrongly pronounce that one. That was pretty straightforward. Do you think that Insure DeFi can get to top 2022? Do you think DeFi can get to the top? I don't know. Insure DeFi. Do you know anything about that?
I do not. Do you?
Nope, not at all. Sorry, Max. Abdullah, so this is one we lost. Abdullah Safar said, Tim finally got my name right. This is what we're talking about. Do you think Bitcoin will go to 75,000 and then correct to 60?
I think it will go to 75,000. I don't personally think it will go that low, though. I think that if Bitcoin does have a correction, it'll probably correct down into, I mean, $60,000 is possible, but I think it would probably correct to about 65. But I think that we are going to see a big run up to 75, 80, and then a 15% correction or so. So that would make sense to me.
Okay. Crypto Alchemist. Oh, that would be an easy one to mispronounce. I just say it so often. Alchemist. Do you think the SEC case versus XRP is going to keep price suppressed until the bear market, and it is worth accumulating at this time? Also, welcome to the Link Marines.
Oh, yeah.
Good name.
I'm part of the Link Marines.
Can I
now.
just say something? Tim,
Sure.
can you just try to pronounce them regular? I mean, I think you should just pronounce their
Hey,
names.
Smay, how about you keep on your job over there at that desk,
I
and let me worry
mean,
about my
I
job
think
at this
it's
desk.
like the funniness is kind of just say it. Just say
Drama.
the name.
Drama alert.
Oh my gosh.
Drama
Anyways,
alert.
continue,
There'll be
please.
drama.
Hey, did you fix my lower
Yes, I
title?
did.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been fixed, thanks.
Anyway, XRP, Jeb, do you think that they're going to...
I think XRP is undervalued right now. I'm gonna be honest with you. Yeah, I do think it's undervalued, and I think it is gonna rally once the SEC lawsuit lets up. But the thing is, it's intentionally manipulating it to the downside. I don't think it's a bad project anymore. I think it is a decent one. It's not a giant part of my portfolio, but I do hold some of it. I have like a couple thousand XRP or something like that. But yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
Mom and Dad are fighting. It's true. Stop fighting! Stop fighting!
Okay, Crypto Knock. Please have a look at MTV Multivac. What does the TA say?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either,
I
man.
haven't looked at it recently, so there you go.
Sorry. Yeah, we're doing more altcoins, but there is still a level.
There's a lot.
There's a level of things we cannot just.
There
get
be a
down
lot
into.
of them that we have to do.
One of our favorites, Matt C, said, "Hey Jeb, welcome to the Link Marines. Chainlink dominates its space as the premier oracle. Nearly every major project uses it. Great long-term
Yep,
project.
absolutely.
We agree.
Amen. I love Chainlink.
Agree.
I'm excited to be holding it.
Here we go. Here's a great name that I will do my best, made to pronounce correctly, but I'm about 97% sure it'll be wrong.
That's very specific.
Brecht Reichart. Brecht Reichart. Yes.
Okay.
Could you guys look at SHOT with the dollar coin for the yes? Thanks for your awesome streams. Love following along.
Don't go to my screen. I'm gonna.
Could also be Brecht. Is another way of
Brecht.
pronouncing that name. Phonetically
Brecht.
correct, but yeah.
Is it shot?
SHOT. Dollar symbol hot.
Oh, dollar symbol hot. What the?
I don't know.
Is it hollow? Is he talking about hollow?
Well, he put a dollar symbol before it, so I don't know.
He's probably talking about
Yeah,
hollow.
it's probably just hot.
I think hollow's a
dollar
decent
symbol
project. I haven't looked at it too much though, so I might look at that at some point in the future. But thank you for the super chat. I appreciate that.
Sawi Verton said, "What do you guys?" Okay.
What do you guys?
It's also fun to read the
What do you
sentences and try to
guys?
decipher what they were trying. What do you guys about Decentraland? Greetings from the Netherlands.
What do you
is
guys
the
think
What do you
about
guys think about
Decentraland?
Decentraland?
Yes.
I think it is I personally have not used Decentraland. I have not played on Decentraland. I haven't bought any land on Decentraland, but I think it's revolutionary. Decentraland very well may go the way of what came before Facebook, the thing everybody used before Facebook. MySpace. Thank you, Taylor. I think it might go the way of MySpace because it was one of the really early projects. It set the ground floor for the metaverse, to be honest with you. It's going to be one of those things that's going to be in the history books, but I don't know enough about it to tell you whether or not it's something that you should, work with. But I think it is going to be a pretty big deal moving forward. Do we have any more?
Yeah, we have at least 3 more.
Wow. Let's run through these quickly.
JJG Games. Hi, Jeb. Can you do analysis on eCash or XEC? Thanks.
Can't
not
today, but maybe next.
Sorry
maybe in the
about
future.
that one. Aaron or Aaron.
Aaron.
D-App. Because he has 2 at symbols. D-At-P. Santa Coin or Sheeb?
Never heard of Santa Coin?
It's Christmas season.
I
Why not?
mean,
I mean, that's true. It is Christmas season.
Santa Coin. Oh, okay.
They're
It's a scam.
both kind of scams, to be honest with you, T-shirt.
Sheep's not that much.
Sheeb's not a scam, really? Okay, yeah. Well, maybe it's not set up as a
wonder what's
scam, but it's
in
gonna
Smay's
scam you out of some
portfolio.
money. I wonder what's in Smay's portfolio. Yeah, absolutely.
No, I actually. So, guys, I made money on Sheep and then I put it into Bitcoin, like every smart
There you
investor
go.
should do.
Hey, look,
There
I
you
got
go.
no problem in investing in Sheeb. Just know what you're doing and get out in profit.
Look,
it's
everyone,
a moon bag.
everyone can have a moon bag.
Get a moon bag.
Everyone can have a moon
I agree.
bag.
You need to be a moon bag. Let's
All
run
right.
through the last of these really quickly.
Hyman Alwadi, could you please look at Litecoin and any resistances?
I will look at Litecoin for just a second, just because Litecoin has a special place in my heart, because Litecoin was the first cryptocurrency I ever bought. It actually wasn't Bitcoin, it was Litecoin. Litecoin has strong resistance at 230 bucks. There you go. That's its resistance at the moment. Let's see if we can run through the rest of them real quick.
Yeah, I'm trying to make sure I don't miss any. But here we go. We got one from the Hoover family. What do you think about Blocktopia?
I need to look into it more, but I'm very interested in it. That's one of those on my research list.
Daniel Bridges said something really mean.
I don't know who he's talking about, though. I don't know who
he
that
also
guy
said
is.
Smai needs to be fired. He doesn't fit in.
Yeah, I don't know who
I don't know that
is.
guy.
We will.
Do we have a
Anyone
Smai?
named Smahi will be fired
Do we have a
immediately.
Smai on
That
on
sounds
staff?
like someone trying to rip off.
Can you
old
fire
snake.
somebody that doesn't work for you? I don't know.
Yeah,
Chad Rippey said thoughts on Voyager Exchange.
Haven't looked into it. It's another one of the ones I want to look into. With that said, I think we ran through all of them.
That's it.
Tam, I got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
We've seen a lot of the East Coast mayors. We're talking the Tupac. No, I'm kidding. The Miami mayor and New York City mayor adopting Bitcoin. Do you think we're going to see the same thing happening in LA, Chicago, Houston, other big cities around the country? How long do you think it's going to take for some of these other big name mayors to start adopting Bitcoin?
Well, I mean, when you say LA, I don't even know who the mayor of LA is.
I don't know. Probably some crazy person.
I say traditionally, probably not. I don't know. LA is a funky little town.
It is.
If you're there, I love you.
It's a funky little town. There you go. Heard it here first, folks.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah. Anyway, so I think so. I think especially in some of the states that are way more crypto. So obviously Florida, you got the Miami mayor going big, but I think you're going to see other mayors in Florida. Obviously, Miami is the biggest city in Florida, so therefore it's going to. Oh, I think Jacksonville actually might be the biggest, isn't it?
Jacksonville's the biggest by land area.
By land area, and then
Jacksonville
Miami,
is definitely not the biggest by population.
Anyway, I think you're going to see mayors and people in Texas, because the Texas governor has come out very, very pro Bitcoin.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think you're going to see mayors in Texas for sure. Even places like Kentucky has been very pro Bitcoin. A lot of those states right in there, Tennessee. I think you're going to see a lot of them, but they just won't be as big of a splash because obviously you got Miami and New York City. Forget just the United States; they're two of the biggest cities in the entire world. So
I just triggered everybody in chat when I said Tupac and East Coast. Everybody's like, Tupac was West Coast. I did that.
Yeah,
on
I'm pretty
I
sure it
did
was.
that-
I'm pretty sure it was Biggie that was from
I
Brooklyn.
know, I did
right?
that on purpose. I wanted to see who would get mad at me. I just love trolling you guys. Anyway, I have another question for you here, Tim.
Yes.
Because I agree. I think we're going to see a lot of these big mayors come in. I've been saying for a long time that Bitcoin was going to eventually become political, which I'm not really looking forward to. I don't want to be like, hey, you love Bitcoin, therefore you must be left or you must be right.
Yeah.
We've seen NYC, which is obviously a very blue state and city, moving in the direction of adopting Bitcoin, but we've also seen Miami, which is a historically blue city, but in kind of a purplish red state. Do you think that cryptocurrency is going to fall along political lines in the next 5 or 10 years, or do you think it's something that can be bipartisan?
I think it will have to be some point because when anything gets big, it becomes politicized. However, the good news is at this point, I have seen Democrats fall in love with it. I've seen Democrats be haters of it. I've seen Republicans fall in love with it. I've seen Republicans hate it. I don't think at this point crypto is, they don't know. I don't think there's enough education to fully decide which side of the aisle is going to really be the supporter and which side is going to be the enemy. So right now it's both of them. And I think what we're going to see over the next couple of years is a mass amount of, again, with all the brokenness that our finances and our economy has had, we've talked about this on the show lots of times, this actually coming in and showing itself to be a hero to the financial world is going to cause a lot of people to just say, forget the left, forget the right, forget the elephants, forget the donkeys. This makes sense.
That'd be
We're
nice.
gonna do this.
I would like that.
So,
Smay, what do you think? Do you think it'll end up becoming bipartisan or polarized?
I hope for the sake of Bitcoin that it does not become something that is polarized.
I agree.
But ultimately, I think this is something that's bigger than party lines, and I think people will start to, especially because everyone knows whatever side you're on, everyone recognizes the problem with our current financial system, right? Everyone recognizes it.
Yeah.
So ultimately, I think everyone's gonna want to find some kind of solution to it, and right now Bitcoin's the obvious one.
I don't know if it's changed that much, but there was a report we read months ago. Like I think it's back in March. There's a whole committee in Congress to help teach and help push crypto like education and stuff like that, and things in the policy making, and it was full of both. It was pretty equal, Republican to Democrat. So this at this point at least, for
It
sure,
seems like it's bipartisan at the moment, which is really interesting.
Yeah. Yeah,
Really interesting.
Yep.
And I like that because the thing is, Bitcoin is almost like a populist thing, and both parties try and be populist. So I guess it makes sense. No political opinions here, but it's just really interesting to me to be thinking about how that is going to be going down. With that said, let's go ahead and read some super chats.
I'm gonna make sure. Let's see. Do we have any super chats?
I think we got a couple. I saw some come in.
They might have popped up late. Oh, we do have one right here from Josiah saying crypto is the plebs versus the uniparty.
That's kind of what I'm talking about. Cryptocurrency is by its very nature very populist. And anybody who is kind of small government is probably going to be a fan of Bitcoin just because it does put the power back in the hands of the people. And that's one of the things that I really like about Bitcoin. Tim, do you think that, let me see, how do I want to phrase this? What do you think the regulatory... Well, first of all, let me ask you this. You saw Elon Musk's tweet. A lot of people are talking about how Elon Musk tweeted saying, hey, I'm going to, based on the results of this poll, I am going to sell 10% of my holdings in Tesla, which would amount to, I think, $24 billion. It's crazy. And then he would he's doing that for 25, something like that. Tesla's worth $250 billion. It's ridiculous. So they can pay the capital gains taxes on it. A lot of people are speculating, would he put that money into Bitcoin? Do you think that he would end up putting some of that money into Bitcoin if he did?
I need to look more into that because there is... the tweet itself doesn't actually ever say Bitcoin.
It doesn't say anything about Bitcoin.
But yet a lot of people took it that way, or a lot of people, Bitcoin got involved somehow.
Yep.
And that's, anyway. I don't know. I need to look before I make a definitive statement on that.
I'd like to think he would buy some Bitcoin.
I think he is going to. I think he's getting back into where he's ready to do it. He clearly, didn't sell all the stuff he had already. So
yeah. Well, the funny thing is, you don't have to, as a private citizen, he doesn't have to actually disclose whether or not he bought Bitcoin. Tesla does because they're a publicly traded entity, but he doesn't. So there's potential that he could turn into one of the biggest whales in crypto, buying up all the Bitcoin and then move forward like that. Or maybe he wouldn't. I'd love to hear your opinion on that in chat. Is Elon Musk going to sell that Tesla stock? Because he said he'll abide by the results of the poll, and the poll has come out that, yes, he should do it. I'm really curious where he's going to put that money because obviously he's going to have to pay like $5 billion in taxes or whatever, but he's still going to have a bunch of money left over that he's going to do something with. I mean, he's probably not just going to let it sit in cash and evaporate into the ether through inflation. He's probably going to do something with it, whether or not he buys back into Tesla or if he, buys Bitcoin. I would be very interested to see what he says. Now, let's go ahead and take a quick look here at Bitcoin, then we're going to wrap the stream out. Bitcoin, as you guys are so excited about in chat, is pumping and has been for the last couple of minutes. We rallied from our low recently at 65,200 all the way up here to 66,200 just recently, and right now we are sitting pretty comfortably up here. Right now, we're seeing a lot of potential rallies going on. We want to see Bitcoin rally all the way up here, back up above back up to and above all-time high. And we will be watching this throughout the day. And by the way, if anything big happens on Bitcoin, like us breaking $67,000 as all-time high, I am going to make a video on it and post it on our Twitter. So if you want up-to-the-minute updates on what's going on Bitcoin, you need to follow our Twitter. That's where we're doing all of the even more topical live content. We're doing it on our Twitter. Make sure to go follow me at Jebb over on Twitter, and also make sure to follow these two fine gentlemen over on Twitter. You can find all the links down below, and follow Kelly at Kelly Kellum on Twitter. He's one of our researchers, and he's great. You guys would definitely love his stuff. Bitcoin is rallying, but like I said, that is going to have to do it for this stream. If it does anything, I will keep you guys up to date over on Twitter. Make sure to go follow me there. And by the way, guys, thank you so much for liking the video. Thank you so much for signing up for Lux Algo with the coupon code Jebb down below. If you enjoyed using Lux Algo or seeing Lux Algo being used today, check out CT2A. The link's down below for that if you want to learn about technical analysis. All of those things are ways that you can support our channel so that we can keep bringing you high-quality educational content, because it is our mission for you to become financially free. We are going to be extending the shows now to about 75 minutes, so we're going to be running traditionally until about 10:45 to 10:50. Hopefully you guys like that. Drop a 1 in chat if you like these new longer shows with more altcoin analysis in them. We're trying to bring you the best content that we possibly can. With that said, guys, if you enjoyed today's show, also subscribe. It looks like we're going to be hitting 200K tomorrow, and I am so excited. But that's all I got for you today. Any final thoughts, gentlemen, before we wrap it out?
That's it.
Cool beans. Before I go, guys, I do just first want to thank each and every single last one of you for watching, as always, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.
Oh, I got a real good